Hello, welcome to Sound and Fury Book Reviews. As usual, I'm Tina. Today I'm doing a book review of Lost Ark Dreaming by Suyi Davies Okungbowa. This is a book coming out May 21st, 2024 from Tor.com. It is a sci-fi novella. I received this arc from NetGalley in exchange for a fair review. A novella with an amazing amount of depth and thematic resonance, Lost Ark Dreaming is an absolute tour de force. What's it about? Off the coast of West Africa, decades after the dangerous rise of the Atlantic Ocean, the region's survivors live inside 5 partially submerged, kilometers-high towers, originally created as a playground for the wealthy. Now the tower's most affluent rule from their lofty perch at the top, while the rest are crammed into the dark, fetid floors below sea level. There are also those who were left for dead in the Atlantic, only to be reawakened by an ancient power, and who seek vengeance on those who offered them up to the waves. 3 lives within the towers are pulled to the fore of this. Yekini, an earnest mid-level rookie analyst, Toyuyo, an undersea mechanic mourning a tremendous loss, and Ngozi, an egotistical bureaucrat from the highest levels of governance. They will need to work together if there is to be any hope of a future that is worth living, for everyone. If you've been following my channel, you know that I love Snowpiercer. This book reminds me of it quite a bit due to the structure of the tower, which you heard of in the jacket copy, but also its focus on classism. While Snowpiercer was entirely about that, maybe a little bit about climate change, not really though. This novel goes further, using its plot and setting to dig into themes of climate change, elitism, and historical debt. Yet despite all these complex topics, the story is also entirely entertaining and exciting. Once the book starts, it doesn't stop when it comes to action and pacing, and it moves at a breakneck pace that suits the story. There are 3 character points of view, though the main one, Yekini, gets the most attention. We are given just enough backstory on the characters to give them motivations and goals that make sense, as well as depth. We have a skeptical government worker, a devoted tower manager, and a grieving engineer. Their personalities and plans worked well with and against one another to create an engaging dynamic between the 3 of them. I really liked how they played off one another, and that was a really big part of keeping the story going. I really cared about all 3 of them, even if one of them wasn't very likable. The setting is simple yet effective. It's one of those books where I actually didn't care how feasible the setting was, because it's an allegory, or as I call it, the allegory defense. In this case, the allegory was for not only classism in general, but how certain countries or cultures are being left behind, or most likely will be left behind, as climate change claims more and more coastlines. To be clear, the setting made sense as a setting, but certain infrastructure questions I had regarding the entropy of technology and even structural concerns were not addressed. Yet, the tower setting is not meant to be hyper-realistic exposition into what it would be like living in such a closed system. As such, there is enough explained or fleshed out to make the story make sense, and a fantastical element of the novel also allows for this aspect to be taken, at face value as well. I can't say too much else about it without going into spoilers. I was thinking here, I was like, is there anything I missed? And there's a ton of stuff that I missed, but I can't say anything because I don't want to give any of it away. Lost Ark Dreaming is utterly entrancing. That's all you have to know, and I was so happy to get an e-copy. I've been waiting to read this one for a long time, so I was very excited. Now, if you folks are interested in more fiction from Africa or African voices, I have 3 here that I recommend. I got sent a bunch of them. So first we have Sweet Medicine. This one deals with a woman in the 2008 financial crisis in Zimbabwe who, despite her efforts, decides to compromise her values to make a life for herself. It's a striking novel. It's very short, but it's very poignant. It's super interesting. I think the cover's really cool. I don't know where to put anything. There's also Broken River Tent. This is a historical fiction told by a man in the present. What does that mean, you ask? Well, this young man is visited by or has hallucinations of a long-dead chief who lived at the forefront of the British colonialism of South Africa. The chief and the man compare their societies as well as have other conversations. The novel is both a contemplation of the past and a comment on the future. It's absolutely fascinating. Now, this one's a bit of a chunky boy, but it's really, really good, and it just flows so well. It teaches you a lot about South Africa, too, if you don't know a lot about that country. And there's also Invisible Strings. This one's a bit more approachable than the other 2. The other 2 are kind of like literary fiction, where this one is, more kind of kind of feels more like a contemporary novel if you want to, make a comparison between the two. So this one is about a mother of a young girl who can heal people by touching them, and this power-hungry pastor who seeks to exploit that kind of talent that the young girl has. It's very, very good. It deals with family trauma and motherhood themes as well. It's just it's just very engaging, and you really, really don't like the pastor. He's he doesn't start off too bad, but yeah, his kind of downfall is very interesting. And the little girl, she's so, oh my god. Anyway, yeah, so there's 3 kind of African books if you're interested in reading stories from writers that are, not African American, but from the continent of Africa. Yeah. So again, thank you to Nick Alley and the publisher for Lost Ark Dreaming. I really, really liked it. I'm totally gonna buy a paperback copy when it's available in like a week. Okay, so thanks.